Hey guys, welcome back to yet another beautiful episode where I do a sit down and we talk about anything and anything. I'm joking, guys. I have a storyline for you. I have something planned for you. In this segment, we're going to talk about African things that will shock you. And trust me, some will shock you and make you sick to your stomach. When I was growing up, I would hear people be like, "Oh, I don't want to meet a woman as I'm going to do something, or we are going to make a deal, we are making a business plate or anything like that. Like, I don't want to cross that with a woman." So the number one thing that I would tell you is crossing paths with a woman in the morning is bad luck. I know the feminists in this room will be like, yeah, there is something that's in that. That is discrimination. Guys, I'm not the one who set up that thing. If you talk to some African people who are deep into their roots, they will tell you that this happens. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to encounter a girl, I'd rather encounter a man." Tell me why we are the ones creating a patriarchal society and blaming the men. We hate women. Women are for women until we are fighting against their fellow women. Washing hands in a small basin means that your private parts will smell of fish. Did you hear that? If you use a small basin, if you come from an African family, I think I have a small one here, guys. Just give me a second. So I have this with me here, and if a guest comes, if you've been in an African home where you don't have the fancy sinks and all that, usually they have such a thing like this in the home. And when guests come, you carry a cup and it has water, and then you pour for the guests to wash their hands. Now, there is a belief that if you use that thing to wash your hands and you've eaten fish, your private parts will smell of fish, and then that is how you end up with fishy private parts. Stinky. I'm joking. One thing that shocked me when I was thinking about that myth, I was like, but who sinks? Who sinks? Like, I haven't understood the mystery behind this. So, maybe someone in the chat will explain. Number 3 was sweeping. Sweeping at night is not allowed because you will sweep out the wealth place. I make it a point, now that I stay in my own place, to sweep at night and make sure that the wealth is done the next day, because, well, we're not living in this house. Me and you are like this. He's in a pond. But that was a common myth, and for me, when I pushed my grandmother to tell me the meaning behind that perception in society, and she was like, "Oh, because in the old days people used to have a lot of coins, and they used to use also needles to stitch, and a needle was very important in a home. So they were like, if you sweep at night, you might sweep out something that is vital or important." So that's why they used to be like, "Oh, don't sweep at night because of that, and not because of actual, but you might sweep out something that is important." I have someone who stayed here. She was my neighbor. She moved, but she still sticks around. And every time I do my laundry, it would rain, and she would be like, "Lorna, you're a very jealousy woman." She would say it in my local language, where she'd be like, "I would be of government jealousy." And then I was like, "Why do you say that?" Then they were like, "Oh, when it rains and you wash, when you wash and it rains, you're jealousy woman." So I was like, what? I have never understood that. But yeah, if someone knows about that, I've heard about that, please tell me in the comment what that means, because I'm also still researching about that point. They talked about when you put your hand on your head, it is a sign of bad luck. When you put your hands, I still can't do it, but when you put your hands like, my mom says carrying the hands on your head. So when you carry your hands on your head, that is a sign of bad luck. It is considered a mourning thing. So it is a sign of you mourning. You're in kind of a sort of mourning. So they don't allow you to put your hands here, because usually people are in mourning, they put their hands on their head. If you've seen people, I don't know why they say that, but my mom used to be like, "Don't carry your hands in my house, go out and carry them from elsewhere." If the secret is, if your mother and husband use the same thing, your mother will die shaking. So for people who are from Uganda, you know that the thing called the core, like, like core or something, but it's like a shaking disease. So is that means that if you hug or can use something, be the same place, use a chair that has been used by you in a piece of cloth or anything, then it means that your mother will die shaking. I don't know why it's the mother, not the father, but one thing that actually shocked me, and I think I wrote it here, is that this doesn't happen when you get close to your father-in-law, but then with the mother-in-law. So guys, tell me about the shaking disease. Has anyone experienced someone who has actually died of the shaking disease? Because we have cultures, especially like in the Western region here in Uganda, where I would say they do not have that in separation where I don't know how they say, but they do not have the in-law thing. I don't know how to say it in English, please, guys. I'm not English. Then number 7, women are not allowed to eat chicken and catfish in some cultures. My grandma, I usually refer to my grandma again because I have these conversations with her because I have a curious memory. I'm just like, oh, I'm very talking about this. Why are they doing this? And she's like, oh, yeah, women never used to eat chicken. And I think some people up to date still don't do it. So if you find a woman and she tells you she doesn't eat chicken, maybe you find people eating chicken, guys, understand, I have to love chicken. 100%. Give me that chicken, guys. So yeah, a lot of the cultures never used to eat it, but my grandmother was explaining why the catfish is not eaten. It's because it has breasts like a woman, and I think it also goes in its period or something. It has its period. So they were talking about that, where they're like, oh, you cannot eat something that is a woman. They are being feminists. They don't want to hurt a woman. But yeah, those are 7 myths that I have been able to collect. If you have any more experiences that you think we should be talking about, please write them in the chat, because I believe some of you have wild things that I cannot even relate to, that will also shock me as a person who was able to sit down and cover certain things. But yeah, other than that, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video, guys. Share this video. I'm not shouting at you guys. I was just saying share the video. Anyways, stay safe and have a good night, and peace out.